So the literal meanings of layout and composition can be like, how you think, how you put things around, like how you put things on a platter maybe. So consider you're a chef, like, okay, and you've made a perfect dish, and it tastes good. It's like it's looking amazing in the pan, in the pot, whatever. So, but you want to present it somehow, which is like, also very intriguing, very interesting, and very like, yummy looking already without even like, tasting it. So you have to think about composition, like how will you kind of like, decorate it, but not decorate as in like decorate in like such a very like, very vague manner, but there are something like, some aspects of composition and layouting which you should remember. So as a chef, it's kind of different, yeah, but as a graphic designer, we go through some of the very main and very vital aspects of composition. So yeah, let's go forward. So okay, so consider this. Okay, now will you even trust me to like, share my knowledge about composition and layout if you see this as my front page? No, right? Because come on, I mean, look at the composition, look at how these text is like just cornered up and like, all these lines without meaning. So yeah, you won't, right? Because the even the low, like the fonts or the typeface is like kind of very weird and not so going together. So that's what matters, because when you see this, you feel comfortable. You can trust me, that how like, I mean, very like, how in harmony this is, like how much harmony this is, like, little green color makes you like, it's warm, it is like kind of welcoming and all this stuff. So yeah, so this is like one kind of bad example of like, layout and composition. So this is for like, for me giving you an example. So yeah, the first thing is the grid. It's very important. Like even in photography and everything, we'll see in forward. So yeah, it makes your design very clean and very efficient. Okay, it doesn't have like so when you consider a grid on your anything, it can be like a lot of types of grids, because so even in this page, I have used a grid to actually make it look pretty. Okay, it looks pretty to the eyes. There are like, no clustered stuff here. So, like, my one and the grid is like, on the grid, and this on this intersections. So whenever you put stuff on the intersections of these three lines, or even the lines themselves, it actually gives you a kind of a cheat code to make things pretty. Okay, to make things look pretty. So let's go with some of the examples. So if you see this photograph, the head of the dog is like, it's on the intersection of the lines, right? So it's making it pretty already. So the first thing you see is like the dog itself, like, he's like he or she is standing on the stone, and then you see the background, right? The trees, and like, it creates a very pretty picture, right? So yeah, this is one of the example. So if you see this, like, it's also used in cinema and photography and paintings and stuff, like anything visual you take, like, people use this on a daily basis. So if you see in this movie Joker, like, Joaquin Obligado, like the Joker itself, is like, going down dancing on the stairs, and this is like one of the frame of the movie. So if you see that his body is in this line, like, and on the intersections, they're like, he's aligned, and that's why it creates a very very nice picture, very pleasing picture. And the stairs on the background, it's just making it look good. Even this photograph, like, how the man is on the line, and the intersection has his head. So all that stuff. So it's very very easy. Now you must have figured out, like, how I can use it in my paintings, my pictures, my graphics, like all the graphics I use. So now you'll be familiar with it. So even in this poster, as you can see, like, you can also add this information on this intersection, head of this gnome on this intersection, like, like stuff like that. You can just play around with it. Don't feel confined, but just play around with it and try to, like, put stuff around, and that way you'll actually go through all these changes in your graphic, but then you will find something very, very pleasing to yourself, and therefore it will be good, for others to see. So yeah, that's a good thing. Again, one
Right.
more last this thing, like how this Kong poster, if so on the right you see it's without the grid, but then when you see put the grid on, you can actually see like how they have put and have this composition around the grid. So it's very simple, and it's very simple cheat code, just use it. I think you should use it like everywhere, just make it pretty, right? Like which human doesn't like pretty things, right? So yeah, make visuals pretty.